So what is a function? A function is basically a thing, a block of code which can be used over and over again without having to need to code it. So for example, it would be something like, say, this, where you would need to output something from a file. If you wanted to do it 10 times, you'd need to copy and paste this 10 times over. But that wouldn't actually be the case. This is because this can be called over and over again using this line of code. What this does is this acts as an argument which actually gets substituted into here. And then once that happens, that actually means that it can run over and over again. So say for example, here we have this done.txt, and that would run once. It would substitute done.txt into this, and it would output one of 8 things in done.txt. So I have these. So normally if you were to do this again, in normal terms you would recode all of this over and over again. But instead what you can do is you can take this one line of code and you could theoretically do that 5 times over. And what that will do is that mean that you can do this. Oh wait, we gotta change variable names. So 1, 2, no, that's useful. 3, 5, sure. And what that will do is it will mean that you can actually run it and it would output multiple times instead of having to block this code in once. So function used actually because instead of doing this and then for each of these, instead of doing this 2, 3, 4, and then here instead of a it would be done.txt.txt, and that would be done over and over again. So here, for God's sake, Control C. So obviously this code is a lot longer, it's not as memory efficient, and if say there was a problem in one of the lines of code, there would be a problem in all of these. So say there was a problem here, we have copied and pasted this like 10 times over or 5 times over, so that would mean that there would be a problem in all of these, so you'd have to go and you'd have to manually debug them at once. But if you're using a function, you can only do that once here and then it will work for the rest of the code. So that is the basic premise of using a function, is that it just makes it a lot easier to be able to code, makes it a lot easier on the eye, because obviously here instead of using like 500 lines of code, we have used about 12 to be able to do something that we could do in about 500 as well. So that's why function parameters are used.